much for coming. Thank you guys for your patience. That romance. And all supporters, please come stand behind us. All supporters, please come stand behind us. Media, stand in front of us. Thank you. Attorney Mans, come stand behind us. Reese Walker. So first off, let me introduce myself. Jock, lower the volume just a tiny bit, please. Just a tiny bit, just for now. Monitor the speaker, please. So I am Naazir and Qaadir's uncle. I'm Tiger. So Uncle Tiger. We have here their dad. Okay. So Tiger, like the animal, Tiger. Uncle Tiger. That's what I go by. We have Dad right here, Tyrese Lewis.
Hello, how are you doing?
So Tyrese, as you can see, has had a lot of stress. He had a stroke. And then soon after the funeral, he's been in and out of the hospital. So we want to definitely thank the NAACP for standing behind us and standing with us. And let me let you guys know, because I heard it a lot. I heard it a whole lot. It was not the NAACP's fault as to why we are now sitting with them in front of you guys and talking to you guys, but out of caring for people as they do, they took the family's situation into consideration with everything. So they wanted to wait until Tyrese was well enough and out of the hospital to come and speak and introduce himself to you guys. This right here was the custodial parent. So his boys lived with him, and great father right here, raised his sons.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I want to say thank you. I can't say no more.
Okay. So I'm gonna read a statement from Tyrese and from what we call the bonus mother, also known as, a lot of people don't understand, when I say BM or bonus mom, but the stepmom, Tyrese's wife. That's who the boys lived with. Let me read this to you. From the moment the GBI informed us of the Naazir and Qaadir's deaths, we have been really shocked and heartbreaking devastation. The void they have left in our lives is beyond imagining. Naazir and Qaadir were, among many things, intelligent, loving, funny, kind, respectful, ambitious, independent, and resilient young men. They were driven and worked very hard towards their goals. Most importantly, they had the love and support of their families, relatives, and friends who cherished them. They even did things with the NAACP youth. Since the investigation began, we have sought to understand what happened that night. almost 3 months in, and the answers we have do not make sense at all to us. As the investigation closes, we still do not have all of the answers. We want answers. We want to ask those who care to stand with us in seeking justice for Naazir and Qaadir. Lastly, we want to express our heartfelt gratitude for the overwhelming support and encouragement shown to us during this difficult time. Respectfully, the Lewis family. And then I, as the uncle, have a statement as well. On March 7th, 2025, Naazir and Qaadir, the Lewis twins, were taken from us in an act of brutal violence. Naazir was planning on leaving his home early the next morning to catch a standby flight to Boston, since he missed his confirmed flight that morning due to long TSA lines. After eating dinner and cleaning up the kitchen, their usual Friday routine, they left their subdivision at 10:17 p.m., making a quick trip to the gas station, then vanished. What happened after they left the gas station? Show us more videos. Since when does a 19-year-old who just spent money on a plane ticket to see his long-distance girlfriend all of a sudden choose to off himself instead of having fun with his girlfriend? Did they have a key to the locked gate at this unheard of mountain to non-hikers? Did they call authorities or emergency services members to unlock the gate for them? Who unlocked the gate? They were bad drivers. One of them asked to drive my car. I replied, never. I would take pictures of how they parked on the street just to tease them, especially Qaadir. Those teenage boys would have driven off of a cliff if they had to drive on a curvy, windy, narrow road up a mountain in pure darkness. Their lifeless bodies were positioned in a way that screamed sacrifice. Scott Curlin and others took so much pleasure in the systemic white supremacist tradition. They shared Scott's murder scene photos with their children in order to desensitize them and encourage those terroristic behaviors. I purposely did not say crime scene photos because I didn't see any crime tape markers or any indication that would suggest it was a crime scene. I didn't even see a gun in those pictures. For months, officials have ignored our cries, but today we stand before you to say enough. We demand a full investigation, and an independent one. The release of all evidence and arrest for those responsible. Qaadir and Naazir were loved. They were stolen from us, but their legacy is ours to define. Every time we speak their names, we defy the silence that lynching demanded. The fight is sacred. Stand with us. This is not just our fight. It is a test of whether Black lives truly matter in this country. We will not rest until justice is served. So, introduce yourself. This is the president of the NAACP Gwinnett.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out today. I want to thank the media for covering this very important story. I also want to thank the members of the NAACP Gwinnett County branch, our state president, and other NAACP members that may be here that's a part of other branches here that we have here in Georgia. First and foremost, we want to extend our deepest condolences to the Lewis family, to the father, to the both mothers, to the aunts, to the uncles, aunties, cousins, and friends who are in mourning for this unimaginable loss. Words cannot fully express the pain and heartbreak felt by everyone who knew and loved these young men. Now let us be clear. There can be no real justice in this case. These young men cannot be brought back. and no legal outcome will ever restore their lives. However, what we can and must pursue is the truth and accountability. We must understand exactly what happened to them and how they ended up in a place they had no known reason to be there. At this time, the NAACP Gwinnett County branch is demanding a full and immediate release of all evidence held by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. The GBI cannot speak out of both sides of its mouth. It can't publicly say the case is closed, but privately say that they will not release all of the evidence to the family because they're still investigating the case. This lack of transparency is unacceptable. We're also calling for an independent investigation. The GBI and Towns County law enforcement have demonstrated time and time again that they cannot be trusted when handling cases of mysterious death of young black men. Our organization is committed to truth, transparency, accountability, especially when it comes to how law enforcement investigates deaths of black people. We will not rest. We will not be silent. We will continue to fight for these young men and their families until the full truth is brought to the light. Thank you.
This right here is no stranger to any of us or to any of you. This right here is attorney and president of the state conference of the NAACP, Attorney Gerald Griggs.
So first and foremost, my condolences to the family of Mr. Lewis, both of the twins, and on behalf of the Georgia State Conference and the National NAACP, we are standing with you in solidarity and demanding justice and accountability. We've been here before, many times in many different counties all throughout Georgia when there's a mysterious death. I can remember getting a phone call from a concerned NAACP president down in Glenn County when there was an unfortunate killing. I can remember law enforcement investigating that killing initially and coming up with an excuse. So we stand here for the twins demanding the same thing we demanded for Ahmaud Arbery and others. A thorough, complete, and full independent investigation. Because we find it very hard to believe that individuals that resided in Gwinnett County would somehow end up in Towns County on a mountain they knew nothing about and commit suicide. We've been here way too many times. So in the 116 years that the NAACP has responded to lynchings, we know when a lynching looks like, we know what it smells like, we know what a cover-up starts out like. And so we stand shoulder to shoulder with the Gwinnett County NAACP and all the 100 branches of this association in Georgia in demanding that the GBI release all of the evidence. Now let's be clear, I know the director knows the open records logs just like I do. If the investigation is closed, then he has to release the file. So we are demanding that he release the file. We are also demanding that an independent investigation occur in this case to uncover and turn over every stone to determine what happened to the twins. Because I find it very hard to believe, as a 21-year practicing attorney, that these individuals drove to a mountain they did not know, up a windy, dark road behind a gate that was locked, and killed themselves. That's very difficult to believe. We know that we are in 2025, which means that every gas station, every Georgia Department of Transportation camera, the flock cameras, they capture everything. So we should have a timeline from the point they left Gwinnett County to the point they ended up on the mountain to delineate what actually happened. That's what we're calling for. If it truly was a suicide, be transparent. Release all the information. Let independent investigators determine what happened. But if it's a cover-up, keep covering up, because the eyes of the world are on this case. And so not only are we calling for an independent investigation, we are calling for elected officials to do more. We are calling for Georgia to be transparent and to give answers to the Lewis family. So first and foremost, we're calling on the GBI director to have a direct conversation with this family and walk through all of the evidence. Secondly, we're calling on the governor to empower independent investigators to look into this case, the same way you did in the Ahmaud Arbery case. Because it's important that not only does Black life matter, but every single incident of a mysterious death in this state should be thoroughly investigated. And if it turns out that somebody has done something afoul of the law, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. So we're calling on the governor to impanel a special investigatory panel to determine what happened in this case. And lastly, we are tired of families having to come to civil rights organizations to force law enforcement to do their job. This is the job of law enforcement. And so we want to make sure that law enforcement knows that in every case, we are watching you. We will hold you accountable. You need to be transparent and accountable to the citizens that pay taxes and the families that entrust their loved ones, 19-year-olds, to your care, concern, and protection. And so on behalf of the Georgia State Conference of the NAACP and on behalf of the National Board, we have eyes on this case because we are done dying. We are done with the excuses. We are done with you sweeping things under the rug like we aren't watching. So again, the ball's in your court now. We hope to hear directly from the GBI director about a meeting to go over the evidence, the complete file with this family. If you truly say that the case is closed, then you will be getting an open records request. You have 3 days to respond. Otherwise, we'll be in this courthouse or others. To the governor, it's time for an independent panel to investigate this case. And to law enforcement, it's time to be transparent. Investigate these cases like it's your loved one. And be clear and transparent with the truth. And let the chips fall where they may. So on behalf of the Georgia State Conference, we stand shoulder to shoulder with the family. We stand shoulder to shoulder with the Gwinnett NAACP. And again, the ball's in the GBI's court. Release the file and allow an independent investigation.